Aja, and I'm going to be anchoring what I believe will be a pretty fun, exciting, and enlightening conversation about Lagos. As we gear up for the gubernatorial elections on the 11th of March, I think it's a good idea to get a fair understanding of what the Sanwo-Olu-led administration has been up to over the last 4 years. And to help me do that as effectively as possible, I'm surrounded by a group of very vibrant individuals that have all been a part of or are a part of the administration in various capacities. Now, I don't know that I can do a good job of introducing them well enough, so I'm going to let them do that.
Okay, I'm Tunde Ajayi, Special Assistant on Health to the Governor. I'm a medical doctor trained in Lagos. I currently support the government in health policy, health systems efficiency, and pretty much everything that has to do with the healthcare of Lagosians, making sure that nobody goes home sick.
Fantastic.
And I'm Sanwo-Olu, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Agriculture, and everything stomach infrastructure. Schooled in Lagos, born in Lagos, bred in Lagos, everything Lagos. And essentially just trying to ensure that getting your food to you at an affordable price, good quality, wholesome. That is what the Sanwo-Olu administration is all about, and that's what we have tried to do.
Yes, so hello everyone, my name is Sholakwe Hammond. I've got the most diverse job here. I'm the special advisor on the Sustainable Development Goals and Investment, which means I am responsible for ensuring that Lagos works towards meeting the 2020 goals that have been agreed by all the countries in the world. I'm also responsible for working with the other ministries and agencies to find the money, the investments to make that happen. I'm also on the board of the Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council. I'm on the board of the Lagos State Sports Trust Fund. And I'm on the council that's trying to implement the Kite at Yaba project. So they keep me pretty busy.
And I'm Teja Bisoye, the Executive Secretary at the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. My deliverables is to make sure that young people can get jobs. And we actively do this by making sure that nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises have access to affordable capital, skills, and every other leverage we can provide that eases their conversations and transactions with government.
I'm Tubosun Alake. I'm the Special Advisor to the Governor on Innovation and Technology. And my portfolio basically deals with driving innovation and technology outcomes in Lagos State, whether it's providing infrastructure or making available the funds for new technology startups to grow, giving them their initial runway to scale. That's what I do on a daily basis. I'm on the board of the Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council, a fund that is designed to help young entrepreneurs and startups to build the kind of technology innovations that will be of benefit to all Lagosians.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisha Babajide. I am the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Development Partnerships and Economic Planning. So my job role is basically just making our partners happy, keeping them engaged, and also bringing in new partnerships into Lagos State in forms of grants, loans, technical assistance, and others. It's really just to keep the state abreast, because it's common knowledge that the state can't do it alone. We need as much support as possible. And I also work in the economic planning units as well, where we work on the Lagos State 30-year development plan, plan the economy, AIM, Betsy, and just others. And I also help in bridging the gap between the young people and this current administration. I'm on the board of Lati Jakonde Leadership Academy, which is a one-year leadership training program for young people, where they are mentored by Mr. Governor. And we just do as much as we can, basically. There's no sleep.
No sleep. The first observation I have is how young everyone on this panel is. And I'm wondering, is this some kind of ojoro, because is this a very special selection, or is this typical of this administration to have young people, leading different areas, being heavily involved in policy making, and just being heavily involved in making sure that the state runs as efficiently as possible?
This is really a specially curated team of young people. But you will find that the entire government is quite a mix, and that was very, very deliberate strategy by Mr. Governor and Mr. Deputy Governor to ensure that there's gender balance, to ensure that there's a lot of opportunities created for youths. For example, he's very, very proud of the fact that the Commissioner for Finance started at the age of 34. probably one of the youngest across the world and for such a strategic position. Of course, the Commissioner for Agriculture here, I won't disclose her age, but she also started in her 30s. Special Advisor, Cabinet Member as well, started in his 30s. So we have a lot of very young people in the government. And everyone brings to bear private sector experience, development sector experience, international exposure, local knowledge, which I would like to talk about later, you find is very critical. And of course, the maturity of age, the audacity of youth, and it all works and becomes a beautiful blend.
Fantastic. I'm just going to get right into it. I mean, still on the subject of young people. If you go on the streets of social media, for example, it seems that the average young person just wants to leave. They just want to jackpot. I imagine that is not something that, as a government, you want to encourage. It's not something that you want to happen, you know, because I imagine you're working hard, you know, to ensure that the opposite of that happens. If you're speaking to one young person that is about to take the last step at the Canadian embassy, for example, and is this close to leaving, and you're trying to get them to do the opposite, you're trying to get them to stay, what would you say would be the biggest reason for them to not leave?
So I actually deal with this on quite a regular basis. One of the functions of the Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council, for instance, is to provide opportunities for people who might think there are no opportunities, and for people that think there is really no hope. So we are in the business of giving hope, actually, to be able to enable young entrepreneurs be able to realize their dreams. For us, is one of the testaments that we have and that we can give to people that are looking at greener pastures, that no, there are green pastures here. There is opportunity. There is the ability to make something or build something of value. And that is what we live and breathe every day. So for somebody looking to go somewhere else, that is the story I will give them. I won't just give them numbers. I'll say these are real testaments on the ground.
Yeah.
Maybe I can just add to what Tubosun just spoke about again, because working with Tubosun's office, we further run what we call the Idea Hub program, where young people, the last applications we had up to 300 businesses applying to go through a 12 weeks program where they meet mentors, we match them to mentors, and they go through this 12 weeks sessions on how to build this idea into a business. But the idea is that, look, in the midst of the challenges are loads of opportunities, and there's only people who can key into what the government is providing that probably can take advantage and build things that can become very successful.
We want to help Nigerian businesses begin to scale. You know how it is, you have this restaurant or this business and it's one location, 20 years, and then someone else comes in from somewhere else, and before you know it, they're all over the place. And we want to start to help our businesses do that in 2 to 3 years to scale across the city and even across the continent. The Z Guide for Nigeria is so hot right now. Everybody wants everything Nigerian, and even as our people move out there, we want the food, we want the culture, we're exporting the culture, we want the food, we want the fashion. So how do we help our people from here do that? And then of course on the tech side as well, how do we start to bring those businesses in, and how do we start to create a platform for creating outsourcing and making businesses global? We have a lot of people who are working in the tech sector who are now working international jobs here. So it's really about supporting them to stay here. It's fine if a few people go. What we don't want is a complete outpour of talent, an exodus of our talent, exactly, where we're losing that and they're not here to solve the challenges.
We have started to build infrastructure. We're building the largest psychiatry hospital in Africa. We're building the largest pediatric center in Africa. And all of these things will attract people back. And so it's going to be the brain gain, you know, as opposed to, I mean, as a compensation for the brain drain that we currently have.
Are those projects, the psychiatric hospital and pediatric hospital you said, are those projects that have already started?
Yes, they have already started. If you're driving on Osborne, you can see the pediatric hospital coming up. In Ketwe on your way to Ekpe, the psychiatric hospital is 1,500 beds. So it's a psychiatry and rehabilitation home. It's going to be the largest psychiatry institute in Africa. And we have started constructing it. And what I have found interesting is that no matter how much you move around, by the time you're 50, when you have spent your youth, you want to come back home. So what we've tried to do, and what the governor has tried to do, is to create the infrastructure they require to come home. One other interesting thing is to note that there's a lot of funding coming into healthcare these days. People are realizing that it's an untapped area. So there's humongous funding coming into Evercare, coming into Afia Care. Young people are creating Bastion Health, HMO. People are creating very interesting tech health solutions, and they are leveraging, they are raising a lot of funds for it. So it's already a fertile ground. I have friends who are beginning to come back, who left about 10 years ago. I have family members who left about 15, 25 years ago now. And then they've seen that the IVF, just another example, the IVF market in Nigeria is actually the most efficient, is the cheapest in the world. And then it is ripe. A lot of people are tapping into it. You literally want to have a male child and you can point to it.
Yeah.
And pay 5 million naira to get it. So you have that market that is not as advanced, but it is very ripe. People are beginning to invest in it. So a lot of people are returning. One very exciting thing that I have realized when I got into government is that over the past 20 years, 24 years now, LASUTH was established in 1999. It was visionary for someone to think that, in the next 20 years, Lagos would have to train extra doctors to fill the gap of our advancing population. We train about 150 doctors a year. It's the only state school that has dental technology and dentistry, training. We are really training for the health systems of Lagos. And LASUTH has advanced. It's the only state institution in Nigeria that has a cardiac catheterization laboratory. Actually, the only public health institution in Nigeria that has a cardiac catheterization laboratory. It means that if you have a heart attack on the mainland, you're going to get it taken out in less than 10 minutes in LASUTH. The other places are private on the island. Putting that kind of thing in a government facility is one of the sterling things that this administration has achieved. In addition to that, of course, that's another training facility. It's another training ground. So it means that we're going to train more cardiothoracic surgeons. We're going to train more cardiologists that are skilled in these things because we have the equipment. So I think apart from equipping these institutions, you're also training for the population that we have created, the people that keep trooping into Lagos. And one interesting analogy we've had over time is that if you are sick, if you are really sick, you won't make it out of Lagos because everybody goes through the Lagos airport and you end up in LASUTH. So what the governor has done and what government has done is to make sure that LASUTH is a place where you can get everything possible.
We have the Lagos Agripreneurship Program. The program is open to a diverse group of people. Nothing around ethnicity, nothing around religion, just come. So long as you are in Lagos and you want to, be a part of the Agric revolution happening. And when we do this, people between the ages of 18 and 40, we actually leave the room open. And at the end of the day, you have people going through tests, going through oral interviews, because we want to know how passionate are you really about changing something. You don't necessarily have to have a background in agriculture. You could even just be a school cert holder. But so long as you are passionate about, I really want to do something with my life. I may not know the direction I want to go, but let me try my hands at this. We give the room open to you to at least come in. And then they go to our facilities in Araga, in Ekpe, and also Songa in Badagry. They are there for 1 month. We feed them. We teach them. We bring in facilitators from different places, even abroad, and they are there for free. So you can imagine that you're housing every single month at least roughly 250 people, and you're ensuring that in terms of security and, just making sure that they are well grounded and at the same time they are well taken care of, because we believe in economies of scale. Under Mr. Governor, we have actually trained, I think, about 16 or 17 batches. During the COVID period, obviously, the whole year we did nothing. And then subsequently in trying to revive it and, come back to speed. So we've done about 17 batches. So you have lap 1 all the way to lap 17. And each group, they form cohorts amongst themselves. We actually train people, particularly in the area of poultry, aquaculture, which is fisheries, and then in horticulture or vegetables. And then we also collaborate with Ministry of Commerce, for instance, because they also deal more with cooperatives. And if anybody even wants to see, please come to Songai, which is in Ekpe, and come and see how these guys are making money. Apart from the lab program, we have the Agro-Produce Processing Enhancement and Livelihood Support Scheme, APPEALS. It is a collaboration of the federal government with the state government, about 10 states, with the World Bank. And this has been a program running 5 years. It's going to end this year sometime in September. And the initiative around this is in Lagos alone to train and empower 10,000 women and youth. And trust me, you don't want to know what Appeals is doing. Even if you go on their Instagram, if you go on their Twitter handle, you will see the impact this program has had on the lives of people.
I think my question is, I'm not ignorant of the fact that Lagos is a complex city. It's a lot of people. You know, someone said 27 million people. And I think that we're probably maybe the smallest city in terms of landmass in the country. So automatically, it's a recipe for stress, you know, and I'm not ignorant of that fact. So I understand that it must be such a complex job, you know, trying to make sense of all of that.
I remember, so I live on the island, I remember when Kingsway Road was being done and how frustrating it was. And I remember when Adeola Deku was being done. But now you drive down it in 5 seconds without giving it a thought. Mm-hmm. And that's really where we're going. In fact, we had a challenge yesterday, name a bad street in Ikoyi, apart from Queen's Drive that's being done. And there are literally only about 4 bad streets left in Ikoyi. In VI, maybe another 3 or 4. So there's quite a bit of work that's being put in. The challenge with infrastructure is it takes a while. And the pain that you feel. So, for example, look at the Lekki-Ekpe corridor. It makes me shudder. It's huge. We're doing so much there. We're doing 4 new roads. We're doing the regional road. We're doing the 4th Mainland Bridge. We're expanding the Lekki Express Road itself, and we're considering doing the coastal road as well. So a lot is going to happen. And if in another year or 2, they will drive around blissfully.
I particularly like your answer and what you shared concerning the traffic I'm thinking as an actual Lagosian, and I'm thinking about the issues that I deal with daily, you know. I like how hopeful your answer was. I'm very big on hope. Because, I mean, I'd never thought about it like that before. There's just 4 roads in Ikoyi or VI, you said, that haven't been done yet. You know, when you put it like that, it's very hopeful. So I just want to spread the hope around a little bit. And I would like for everyone to share one thing that is currently in the works or has been done by this administration that is going to directly affect the lives of the everyday lives of Lagosians and will make Lagos a much easier place to live. And I want to start with you, Tuboso.
Let me speak from a technology perspective because that's my portfolio. And we were talking about how, for instance, transport, you know, and traffic management really affects the lives of citizens. It's about man hours and productivity. One of the things we've done is the implementation of what we call a smart city project. We're on the first phase of that project. And really, the idea is that, look, there's transformational change just like when you do a new road and then it lets traffic flow. But then there's also iterative change where you try and make, you add certain things, you implement certain tools and technology aids to make traffic flow easier. And one of the things we've done is we've implemented what you call intelligent transport systems. What that really means is that, say for instance, at a junction, most things that cause traffic in Lagos, either somebody is parking where they are not supposed to park. So what the intelligent transport system has been doing, we're on phase 1 of that project, is that at certain hotspots, we've installed these, for instance, very high definition video cameras with intelligence behind it to really look at, okay, who are the people that are disobeying traffic regulations, right? Who are the people whose cars probably do not have roadworthiness or they are past their lifespan, right? And some of these things, right? The ITS identifies some of these things so that they can be effectively dealt with.
Honestly, when you were sharing just now, I almost wanted to say, it's okay, you don't need to share your example because I'm a living example. It really was bittersweet for me. On the one hand, I was excited that Lagos has this. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. For me, the biggest part of that is obviously public order and discipline, but even more so just sparing our public officers the humiliation and the injury that they sometimes, and threats and things that happen to them. I mean, I know sometimes when these things happen, people can be boisterous, intense situations, fault could be on either side, but I think it's really, really bad sometimes that public officers get hurt in the course of duty. Even firemen get attacked sometimes when they go and rescue people. I don't know how that happens. So I think for me, just the fact that at least public officers don't have to be running after anybody's car. And after a while, everyone sort of learns the ropes and the system does its work.
And this is me speaking now. Every time I have the opportunity to interact with someone that works with the government, that works with the administration, it almost always ends with me saying, but why don't we know this, you know? But why don't the people know this? So I think I just would like for someone else to highlight one other aspect or one other thing that they consider a major win of this administration. Who wants to go?
I think what is also interesting is also under this administration, we now have a labor market information system that tries to bring together public, private sector conversations so people that are looking for jobs. There can be data to also help decision-making in government and intervention areas for education.
Lagos is largely informal. So you have the informal sector dominating quite a lot, and that is where you have market women, market men. Do you know that for you to get your food on your table, you have up to 12 middlemen before that food gets into your pot and gets on your plate? So you can imagine that the market woman, being the last mile person before you buy that food, is actually not making as much money. She's losing a lot. She's putting in so much effort, but she's actually not making much. And that is because how your food even gets to you, it's totally not transparent. And this is why the man is building the largest food logistics park in Africa on 1,200,000 square meters of land.
I think my sector is also very important for young people, you know, tech and innovation. I think one of the things that is really in the pipeline for us, and we've been dimensioning for a while, is the Yaba story and the Yaba safe haven story. Why do I say safe haven? Because for technology to grow, you need clusters. You need clusters of infrastructure for things to be able to move ahead. And why do I say that? A lot of young people don't know that the entire Yaba story, Lagos State was there in the beginning. The first high-capacity fiber cable that passed through Yaba was done by Main1 in partnership with Lagos State, right? And that mushroomed all those startups that you see in Yaba, you know, Yaba, Corn Valley, and all of that. Lagos State has been part and parcel of that growth trajectory.
I just want to have a little bit of insight into how you communicate with your you call him your principal, right? Yes. How you communicate with your principal, and you know how you make sure all of it is working right, he's in the know at every point in time, you know, and all of that.
I think, let me jump off that. I think that's a fabulous question because it's a very large and complex organism. And there are many things that in making sure that things are running smoothly, there has to be some level of structure. And so, for instance, we have executive committee meetings, and that is a point of contact between some of us and the governor. And it's also an opportunity for us to give him feedback and vice versa, for us to be able to keep the state running smoothly.
So for us, in terms of communication, I think access to the governor, we've heard other states and how they can't even reach their principal. There's always bottlenecks in between. Mr. Governor is not like that. You send him a message now, the man will respond. 3 a.m., the man can respond.
That's when you catch him around midnight. I would like to really add to that because it's so interesting for me. So I've had in my short career span in government, I've had the privilege of working with 2 different administrations in 2 different geographical zones. My experience, I can compare, and I'm fine to do so in my head, just don't say it out. I can say that it's been amazing to get in touch with someone and they respond back and they listen. So I've had a journey whereby I would drop him a text and I'll be like, I have an idea. What can we do? And he calls me, they'll be like, okay, come and see me, let's talk about it. Send this, let's know how to go about it. And maybe you've attended one of our programs and you see how relatable he is, right? And what people don't know about, he's so empathetic. So the words I describe him as is compassionate and empathy. So he's taught me to be very empathetic, you know, and in my dealings. And also he's very discerning. He's very, very discerning. So, and one thing I love the most is that he's passionate about young people.
Fantastic. And to wrap us up, Teju.
Lagos is the real energy for hustling, like giddy hustle. is Lagos should come to with a bag and you leave with a Lamborghini.
Oh, okay. I absolutely love that. Thank you all.
Without having a gun, right?
Without a gun.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you Tunde, thank you Abisola, thank you Sholakwe, thank you Teju, thank you Tubasun, and thank you Aisha.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you for having us.
If anything, I feel that everybody watching knows a little bit more, is a little bit more, informed. And on that note, we bring this conversation to a close. My name is Mimi Onolaja, and it's been an absolute pleasure to sit down with these incredible, vibrant minds and remind ourselves of how great our city is, why we love our city so much, and why we're all going to keep working together to make sure that our city keeps getting greater.
For a greater Lagos.